Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. I'm hoping everything is going well with you today. What we are working on is just a little bit something different, just changing things up. So what we do is we do some sample problems either from GED, ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, TEAS test, HESI test, and I just break down the algebra so you can be okay with it, feeling pretty confident, ready to move and groove with it. So say our first example, hey Janice, how are you? Our first example is the length of two sides of a triangle are 4 centimeters and 6 centimeters. What I'm thinking about. If the perimeter of the triangle is 18 centimeters, what is the length in centimeters of the third side of the triangle? All right. So is your answer A 2, B 8, C 10, or D 24? Okay, so what's the answer, Daniela? What do we got? What do we have? And I think, yay! Audrey can finally see it on her screen. So I see some people are in here. Okay, Danielle is saying it's 8. Bobby is saying it's B8. Okay. Lay, hey Lay. Hey Lay. Is here. Is that Vigilant? Vigilant is saying 8. Okay, I'm doing okay. I know it's been a very busy week, definitely. So the answer is definitely going to be 8. All right. So since they basically say the length of the two sides, they gave us that. So if they know that the perimeter is 18 and we know that the other two sides, remember perimeter means around, okay, the rim. So since we know the other two sides is 10, well, 18 minus 10 will give us our 8. All right. Oh, I know. It's that time of year. As soon as everybody go back to school, it's either we're like, yeah, we're doing good, or just hold on. All right. So number 2, we have 16x plus 30 equals 190. So we're saying which equation has the same solution as the given equation? Is it A, B, C, or D? What do you think? Why don't I go into teaching? Oh, I was a classroom teacher for 22 years. Yep. Damn near killed me. Yep. So I just basically said, you know what? Let me continue on, because I was actually looking for a career at the time that I can actually still keep teaching, since I spent so much time and so much energy to be a teacher. So I just said, you know what? I'm out. They all want teachers, but they don't know how to treat teachers. Okay, soon enough, a lot of teachers are going to be independent contractors, and it's going to cost people. Well, what am I saying? AI is going to take over, so there's going to be no need to educate people because the computer can do it all for us. I know. Talk about Terminator 1, 2, 3, and 4 wrapped up in one. All right, so I'm seeing some C. Whaley is betting his life is C. Jacqueline saying C. Bobby C. D. Honey is saying C. So we have our C, C, C. All right. Okay. Life with, I think that's Myra, is saying C as well. Yes. Because if you notice, all of them are equal to 16x. So if I want to get 16x by itself, that means I need to subtract this 30 on both sides. So when I subtract my 190 minus 30, that will give me my 160, which the answer is C. All right, let's try another one. Okay, we got Ty set a goal to walk at least 24 kilometers every day to prepare for a multi-day hike. On a certain day, Ty plans to walk at an average speed of 4 kilometers per hour, what is the minimum number of hours Ty must walk on that day to fulfill the daily goal? Is it A, 4, B, 6, C, 20, or D, 24? Is that scatty? That's what it says. Scatty is saying C. Okay, thanks for the follow. Don't cry. Okay, so Life is saying with B. Bobby's saying 5 months. It will be all Greek to you. Oh, so sweet. Wale is saying B. D saying 6. David thinking it's B. Hunter is thinking it's B. Ben, you have no idea? Not a problem. I'll break it down in a moment. Wale is breaking down how he got his 6. Yoda, hello Yoda for life, has got B. Is that Nazrat? Make sure I'm not mispronouncing it. Saying 6. Bobby saying B. Sean saying 4. Hello, Britt is saying hi. All right, so let's take a look. We have at least 24 kilometers. All right, on a particular day, his average speed was 4 kilometers. So if we take this and we want to know the number of hours he has to walk in a day to fulfill the goal, well, if we want the goal to be at least 24 and we're looking at 4 kilometers per hour, why don't we just divide those two bad boys, just like I think it was Wiley said, and we will get our answer of B, which is 6. All right. I had a lot of word problems. Yes. I don't know what it is, and this is just me when I used to test out Praxis, SAT, didn't matter. When I take the test in April, it seems so much easier. I don't know why. I don't know, maybe it's just me just making stuff up in my head, but it always seems like it's harder at the end of the year or the beginning of the year. But then when I take it in the spring, it's so much easier. I have no idea. But we'll figure it out. So number 4, the function g is defined by g of x equals x squared plus 9. For which value of x is g of x equal to 25? Is it A, 4, B, 5, C, 9, or D, 13? What is ACG? It used to be my name until I got divorced and went right back to Codner. Woohoo! So now I say the A is representing algebra, the C is representing college algebra, and the G is representing geometry. All right. Okay, so we got a bunch of 4s, got 4s, got 4s, got 4s. Gio's saying it's A, which is 4. Is that Mate with an A? Wale with 16. Ben with an A. Abdullah with A. Ramel with an A. Wale is saying 8. Jay is with A. Chelsea with an A. Okay, so this is prep for the ACT, SAT. It's a combination because a lot of the questions that's on here will also show up on the ACCUPLACER as well. Okay, and some of it for ASVAB. So it has a lot of algebra into it. Okay, lady is saying 5. A true pharaoh saying it's A. Madam Gadgets, there we go, saying A. All right. Can I write on the paper? Yes, I can write on the paper. Isn't that what you're supposed to do with paper? Sorry. Icy, hello, is saying B. B Spitz is saying A. All right, so we got a combination of A's and B's. So let's take a look. So I notice that we're looking at the g of x is saying is 25. This function says g of x. So I'm going to take this 25 and replace that g of x. So it's going to look like this. You have 25 is equal to x squared plus 9. Okay, so we did the substitution. So we're going to solve this for x. So what we're going to do is we're going to isolate that x squared. So that means this positive 9 needs to move. And how I move it, I have to do its inverse. Okay, so the inverse of positive 9 is a negative 9. So 25 minus 9, that will give me 16. And 16 is going to equal that x squared. So now I want to get x by itself. So I need the inverse of squaring. And the inverse of squaring is called a square root. Because squares and square roots, they're inverses of each other. So that can cancel out. And I can bring down my x. And now I have the square root of 16. So this is when you have to really understand your roots. The square root of 16 is a perfect square root. So it's a number that multiplies by itself 2 times to give me 16. Answer of that is 4. Normally, when you break down the square root, you're going to have 2 solutions. The reason why you're going to have 2 solutions because look, and from the very beginning, my highest exponent is a 2. So that means you're going to have 2 solutions. But since we are looking, and it looks like if you're looking at your answers, but since we are looking at just one of the solutions, they always usually go with the positive. Okay, because we needed a positive value, which is going to be positive 4. Okay, so I don't want everybody to be like, oh, square root of 16 is equal to 4. It's actually equal to 2 things. Because if I square positive 4, I'm going to get 16. If I squared negative 4, I'm also going to get a positive 16. Because don't forget, a negative times a negative gives me a positive. That's why we have that plus minus. This means positive 4 and negative 4. All right. So let's keep it going. I think you guys are doing fabulous. Okay. Even if you're just watching and you're like, haven't seen this since I was a fetus. Hey, not a problem. Because I'm going to stop for a moment. I'm going to do something a little different. So I'm going to do this, but I'm also going to do a couple surprise problems and see if we can time each other and then be able to put our answers in. Okay. I don't know, just a little change her up. Why not? So which expression is equivalent to 9x squared plus 5x? Is it A, B, C, or D? As I look up, there's a sea of A's. Look at all these smarty patardies. I love it. All right. Okay, the first one. Thank you, Rhea. Stephanie saying C. Hello is saying A. Lady is saying A. Okay, Riddick is saying C. Offer. I like this. Okay, instead of Christopher. Like it. All right, saying A. Emma with an A. Claudio. All right, Queen E, how are you? Welcome back. Black Diamond, welcome back with an A. Corey with an A. Yes. Please ask hard questions. I do. And here's my thing. That's during my tutoring sessions. Okay. I come on TikTok to build people up, not to challenge their intellect. Okay. More so just to build them up, get them away from that whole thing called math phobia. So if this is too easy for you, I appreciate you coming in, but you can also sneak out. I will greatly appreciate that. Okay. All right. Okay. They're looking it up. All right. No problem. Okay. You don't know. Hey, Jojo, how are you? All right. So let's take a look. So for number 5, in order for me to find my equivalent, I want to see if you notice all of them have parentheses. So if all of them have parentheses, that's kind of telling me that there's something called factoring that's happening here. There is something that this 9x squared and that 5x both have in common. So if I take a look at the spaces in the front, that's telling me what they have in common. It's also known as your GCF, your greatest common factor. So for 9 and 5, I'm going to do the numbers first. The only thing that 9 times table and 5 times table have in common is 1. So that's not going to help. right? I'll put it down just in case. There are x squares. X squared means x times x. So there's two x's there. For the x, there's one x. So if one of them has two x's in common, or has two x's, and the other one has one x in common, I keep saying in common. So they both sets will have at least one x in common. So my GCF here is going to be 1x or just x. The 1 is always assumed to be in front of the x. So just knowing with that, boom, my answer is going to be A. Because all the other ones, this has a 5x, this has a 9x, this has an x squared, okay? When it comes to the x's, you always want to pick, especially during the GCF, you always want to pick the one with the lowest exponent. This has an exponent of 2. This is assumed to have an exponent of 1. If you don't see a number, it's assumed to be a 1. That's why a lot of math teachers will say, oh, x is 1. No. X itself isn't 1. X itself is multiple numbers. It could be anything, okay? But the coefficient, if you just see it as an x like this, the coefficient is a 1. And if you don't see an exponent, the exponent is also a 1. All right? Okay? Makes sense? All right, so you didn't have to go and try to do the rest of it. You just really just needed, let me find the GCF, okay? That's usually helpful. All right, one more before we do our little twist. All right, so each value in the data set represents the height in centimeters of a plant. What is the mean height in centimeters of these plants? Okay, let's take a look at it. All right, thank you for sharing the live, team. I appreciate it. Oh, Abby, what are you working on? Okay, yes, the average, yes, star. Okay, Riddick, you thinking it's 7? Now remember, if you ever get into a situation where you're like, yeah, Audrey, I'm not sure what it is, you can put a question mark in the comments, okay? So that is like an option for you. You're really bad at these? Hey, no problem. That's why I'm here. I'm here to break it down as best I can, okay? And this is a place where you should feel safe to ask questions, okay? If not, if there's a person that's not, you know, I'll try my best to get rid of them. Sometimes TikTok makes it quite hard for me to do that. But that is always my thing. All right, so Riddick is saying 9. Thank you, Bobby, for the question mark. Nightmare, oh, interesting name, saying 13, my favorite number. All right, oh, thanks, Black Diamond. Carlos, thank you for your honesty. You're ready to solve now? Okay, it's coming. All right, what are the quick references to figure that out? All right, I'm about to show you in a moment. Don't you add them up and divide by number of numbers? There you go, JoJo. Can't sit here and tell me you don't know. All right, Unbothered is saying 10, star, 0.9, Icy, 9, Queenie, 9. All right. Teresa, you don't suck at math. It's how math was presented to you back in the day. We got this. All right. So they're asking for the mean. So the best thing about the mean is we don't have to put them in order. That's the median. Median is when you're finding the middle number. We're looking at the mean. So we have to add all these numbers up. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 numbers. Keep that in mind because we're going to need that. So we have 10 numbers total. So we need to add all these lovely things up. This is how I like to do my fast addition. See what I can group. So I got 3 4s. And I know fast addition is AKA multiplication. So I'm going to do 4 times 3. That gives me 12. So now I have a 10. I have a 10. I have a 15. So 10 and 10 is 20. Plus 15, that gives me 35. And if I want to add the 35 and the 2, that would be 37. Okay, so those are done. So now what's left over? Oops, grabbing the wrong pen. Now we have, because remember, if you're taking the GED, the ASVAB, and the ACCUPLACER, you can't use a calculator. This is why I like to do a lot of my stuff by hand, okay? Not because I'm just trying to be extra. All right, so now we have our 22 and our 13. So that gives us our 35. And then what was left behind is our 6. So add them all together. So I know 2 plus 5, that gives me 14. 14 and 6, that gives me 20. So now I have 3 and 3, that gives me 6, 7, 8, and there's my 9. So all those numbers add together gave me 90, right? How many numbers did we have? Oh, wait, I wrote it here. That's 10. So I'm taking my total of 90, divide by 10. Now here's a trick. Since they both end in 0, cancel out the 0. What's left? 9 over 1. What's 9 over 1? That's equal to 9. Okay? Yup. IBEW, exactly, Kaiser. Same thing. Can't use a calculator. But here's my thing, Kaiser. This is a thing. I'm not sure about abilities or anything. But if you had, so I've heard some places, if you had an IEP when you were in high school, you can tell them that you used to have an IEP and they will give you extra time and a calculator. I had one of my students who passed, was able to pass because he was allowed to get a calculator and an extra time. So as long as you had some form of documentation about that, some places, and I think he was in, what state was he in? Because it's probably based off a state as well. So if that is something that can be useful to you, go ahead and check that out, okay? All right. Okay, you're in California? Yeah, he wasn't in California. I definitely know that. I think he was East Coast. But if anything, double check. There's no harm in that, okay? So if that does help with you, do it. All right. All right, not a problem. Okay, so let's go. Ready? Here's a separate sheet. Let's see what you got. I want you to simplify that. Okay, I'm going to start implementing some of a special order of operations. Go ahead and put that in. All right, the minute time starts now. It shouldn't take a minute, but let's go. Try your best not to use a calculator. Yeah, it's almost like you're telling Jaws, no, stop biting. Ow, you bit me. Like, no. Yep, it's always free to ask. There you go. All right, Phoenix Queen, hello, welcome back. Okay, Phoenix Queen is saying 37. LaRon's saying 36. LaRon 37, dang it. Okay, that's okay. Wiley 37. All right, Floppy just finished it all out. Same thing with Shayla, finished it all out. Sugar Plum, hello, welcome back. The same 37. Bobby with the -2. Okay, Mario with a 3. Nast with 37. 37, so I'm seeing some 2s. I'm seeing some 37s. PEMDAS, there you go. Ooh, 62. All right, but we got it. All right, I got it with the 37. 37 red bug. All right. We got the easy. There we go. See, look at you, JoJo, doing math. So proud. Like a proud mama over here. All right, so let's take a look. Try and put it in my separate sheet. So we have our our PEMDAS. Let's start here. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally from left to right. Okay? So when we're taking a look at this from left to right, we got to do what's inside our parenthesis. So that means we have our 7 squared plus our 3 minus 5 plus 10. That gives us our 15. So now that's done. Now we got our exponents. 7 squared. 7 squared is not 14. 7 squared does not mean 7 times 2. It means 7 times 7. Okay, so 7 times 7, that will give us our 49. So now we have to go. We have addition and subtraction. So we don't have any multiplication to worry about. So don't have to worry about that. But we have to do it from left to right. This is the part that screws everybody up, the whole left to right thing. Okay, so that means we need to combine our 49 and the 3. So 49 and 3, that will give us our 52. And then we have our minus our 15. So now we're going to take that 52. Excuse me. Oh, that felt so wonderful. Like that sneeze that's boiling up. So then we borrow from the 5 to make that into a 4. So then we make that 2 into a 12. So 12 minus 5 gives me 7. And 4 minus 1 will give me 3. So my answer will be 37. Okay. All right. One more and then we'll get back to our regular played station. Here we go. 1 minute. Let's go. Solve it up for me. Okay, from Nigeria, well, welcome on in, Wale. All right. Candy, how are you? Okay, Night Fury is saying 54. Elise saying 50. Phoenix Queen 50. Okay, Shayla's not sure. That's okay. This is great. Okay, from Montgomery, Alabama. Well, welcome on in. Okay, Maury saying 50. Seeing a whole bunch of 50s. Okay, almost done. Let's say 15 seconds. All right, so King with the 47s. Cal, okay, King with a 48. Burger with a 50. Becky with a 50. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're going to break this down step by step. Again, let me bring it all in for a little bit. Whoa. Got crazy with bringing it all in. So we have our please excuse my dear Aunt Sally from left to right. Okay. So right now we don't have any parentheses, so don't worry about it. But we do have an exponent. So 3 squared. So that does not mean 3 times 2. It means 3 times 3. So we have our 14 minus 3 times 3, which gives me 9. And then we also have a 1 raised to the 7th power. This is the best thing about 1s. Anything 1 raised to any power is going to be 1. Okay? 1 to the 2nd power, 1. 1 to the 8th power, 1. 1 to the 1,264, 1. Okay? Bring everything else down. The plus 9, I know they're using an X for multiplication. I know, cringe. But here we are. So now, from here, we did our exponents. From left to right, we need to do multiplication. So the only multiplication we have is right here with the 9 times 5. So, but then we have a division right here. Which should I do first? Let me pause right here. Which should I do first? The multiplication or the division? You can use M for multiplication or D for division. Okay, you don't have to write the whole thing out. Okay. All right, so the M, couple D's, a whole lot of M's, and some D's and some N's, left to right. There we go. That's the key part. Left to right. Okay, so we have to do this division, even though it's just a 1, because we all know anything divided by 1 is itself. We should tackle that first. Right now, it's easy, but later on, it might be a completely different situation. Okay, just like all kinds of problems, it's always a different situation. It may sound familiar, but it's always a different situation. Okay, so we do the division. That's how we got our 14 minus 9. I know we can combine it, but we need to work on our steps. Then 9 times 5 is the next thing. That'll give us our 45. Oh, looks like the blue marker is ready to die. Just being a quitter. Come on, suck it up. All right, so now we got to work from left to right. So we have to go 14 minus 9 first. I know it's going to be so convenient to do addition. Did you know that that is a learned thing? We like when things are added. We like when we get bigger meals. We like when we get lots of addition. When they take things away from us, we run away. So that's why we always love to do addition first, but from left to right. So this gives us our 5. Plus, bring down the 45. Now we do our addition, 5 plus 45, and that gives me 50. And that was my age 3 years ago. All right. Okay. So remember, from left to right. I know a lot of people are like, oh, let me do the addition first. It's always from left to right. Okay. All right. That's what matters. Yep. All right. So it's kind of like we have to figure out how to put our clothes on. If not, we will have our underwear outside our clothes. This is no longer the 90s. I am not Madonna. We're going to move on. Okay. All right. So we're going to be incorporating some of these problems because we're still having that discussion of order of operation. So now back to our scheduled program. I'm going to zoom in because, yeah, we all don't have magnifying glasses. There we go. All right. Hello, Anita. All right, so here we go. A student council group is selling school posters for a fundraiser. They use the function P of X equals 5X minus 220 to determine their profit, which is the P of X in dollars, for selling X school posters. In order to earn a profit of $900, how many school posters must they sell? Okay, so the P of X is your profit, the money, the moolah. Your X is the school posters. So how many school posters must they sell? Hey, my. T's here. Yep, welcome on in. Hey, Lynette. Oh, I just see you now. Okay, so Wiley's thinking it's 224. Okay, a lot. Okay, Rossi is saying 140. Arithmetic reasoning is hard, and that's why we need to break it down. The more practice we get with it, the easier it's going to get. That's the only way it's going to get somewhat easy. All right, so I'm seeing some 224s, quite a bit. Okay, so we got 140, sugar plum, we got 224. Do I tutor other subjects? I do not, because you will surely fail. You're going to be like, what kind of sentence is this? Yeah, you don't want me to do that. Demetrios, saying 224, Burger 224, Rose 140. I got you, sugar plum. Manny 224. Okay, where to start? Don't even know where to start. I got you. Okay, thank you for your honesty, because trust me, I know there's a lot more people that will say exactly the same thing. Okay, Icy's saying 130. Okay, Reese is saying like 1120 divided by 5. Don't know the formula. Okay, all right. So let's take a look. Anytime 1 they give you an equation. That's almost like a kissing, like smack in the mouth from God itself, okay? Then they're telling you the P of X is the profit, okay? Not the prophet, Isaiah, and all that stuff. Just the profit, the money. X is representing the posters. So they're saying in order to earn a profit of 900, so that means this 900, let me grab my highlighter, is basically talking about the profit, which is that part of the equation. So we're going to replace that 900 or that P of X with the 900. So it's going to look like this. We have our 900 equals our 5x minus 220. We want to solve this bad boy for x. We want to isolate our variable. Think of x as ourself. Think of the 5 as your significant other. Think of the negative 220, that person in the club that wants to interrupt your good night, right? How do you do it? You do the opposite. This is how life lesson. You want to move people out your life, do the opposite of the energy they give you. It freaks them out. So if they come with negativity, bring the positivity. You can do the whole bless your heart thing if you want to. That's all kinds of fun. All right. So now we're canceling those out. Because if you owed me $220 and you paid me $220, guess what? You don't owe me anything. So what's left on this right-hand side is this 5x. So now we want to add the 900 plus the 220. So 0 and 0 gives me 0. 0 and 2 gives me 2. And 9 plus 2, that gives me 11. All right? So it's very similar to what, I forgot someone said, that you just take the 1120 and you divide by 5. The reason why you're dividing by 5, now your boo is acting up. Okay, all in the club, just messy, just messy. All of a sudden tells you, you ain't nothing. So what do? You divide that person out your life. I'm going to call them a person because I don't know who's my audience members. But you all know what I want to say, okay? So now we have our 1120 divided by 5. We got our X, which is us, by ourselves, being independent. Okay, I-N-D-E, yeah, all that, right? So now we need to divide. So if we're going to do our long division, I'm going to take it over here. So we got our 1120 divided by 5. So how many 5s can go into 1? None. How many groups of 5s can go into 11 without going over? Oh, 2 groups. Because 5 times 2, that gives me 10. Subtract that, 11 minus 10, that gives me 1. Let's bring down that 2. Yeah, I'm doing it old school way because I'm old school, okay? Now we bring down the next number, so now it's not a 1, now it's a 12. So how many groups of 5 can go into 12 without going over? 2 groups. Again, 5 times 2 gives me 10. Do that subtraction. Bring down the next term, which happens to be a 0. So now we're saying, okay, how many 5s, groups of 5s can go into 20? Well, that's exactly 4 because 5 times 4 gives me 20. And we don't have a remainder. So yes, your answer is going to be 224. Okay. This is what I like to do step by step. I know some people are like, oh, we got the answer like 5 hours ago. And I know. But see, my thing is, I like to talk to the people that always had a fear in math. You don't have to fear math anymore. You're not that little kid in the corner wondering, when am I ever going to learn it? Everyone else is so much better than I am. And then you just become toxic as you get older. I know, because I used to be that person. Okay, that's how I know. All right, so let's take a look at the next one. See if I can zoom in quite a bit. So here we have Jay walks at a speed of 3 miles per hour and runs at a speed of 5 miles per hour. Well, good for him. He walks for W hours and runs for R hours for a combined total of 14 miles. Which equation represents this situation? So we're not solving. We just want to know the equation. Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Or is it D? Yep. How do we set it up? Exactly. Okay. Well, thank you, Monique. Or Monica. Sorry. Seeing all these things. Okay, Candy thinks it's A. Wale thinks it's A. I see A. JRA. Steph A. Rosie A. So, sorry. I was catching the beat. It was out there. I had to catch it for a second. All right, I'm back. Okay, Rosie A. Gabby saying A. Sugar Plum saying A. Okay. Is Tesco is saying C. Cloudy. Hey, Cloudy. All right. We're saying A. Tama is saying B. Diane saying A. Queen E is A. Rose A. Mare A. Diane A. NX A. Dimitri A. Mon A. Speed mean walk. Yes. So let me grab the pen that actually works. So if we're saying 3 miles for walking, 3 miles an hour, and if we're saying W is representing the hours for the walking, and then we have 5 miles per hour, and we're saying R is representing the hour for running, and combined means addition, and it's 14 miles. So right away, I'm looking at this, boom, C and D is out. What is this 112? Okay, that was a group back in the day, but not right now for this problem. So now we have to take a look. This one's saying 1/3, this one's saying 1/5. We're not, no, it's just A. All right, nicely done, y'all. Okay, let's do 2 more, and then we're gonna get a couple more order of operations, and then we are done. See, just a little taste of math to start your lovely weekend. You're like, what? All right. So, what's John doing? John paid a total of $165 for a microscope for making a down payment, by making a down payment of $37 plus P monthly payments of $16 each. Which of the following equations represents this situation? Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Or is it D? So we got some B's. I think this is from last one. Okay, so Josh we got is a C, Wale with an A. Okay, Otter, oh, love that. It's a C. Mari saying C. Okay, Angel is saying C. Rose, C. Marissa, D. Kaiser's not sure. That's okay. I'm more than willing to help. Give me a moment. All right, so we got user 89 saying C, NXNX saying C. Thanks for sharing the live. Black Diamond with a D, Brianna with a D, JP with a C, Iced Tea. That sounds tasty. I need something. With a D, B, Gabriel is a C, Gabby with a C, Tightrope. Oh, damn. That's a C. Snowball with a D, Heath with a C. All right, I think I got everyone. Oh, all right, Brianna switching up to the C. Okay, I got you. So it looks like a mixture of C's. Oscar with a C, Lizard Beef. That's interesting, with an A. Okay, Oscar with a C. All right, so we got some C's, we got some A's, and Sugar Plum's thrown into the B with the mix. Okay, well, let's take a look. So we know that the total is 165. All right. So all of them are equal to 165. That's the best thing about multiple choice questions, all right? So now they made a down payment of $37. So right off the rip, bam, slaps down 37 bands. Sorry, trying to be cool. Drops down $37 right off the bat, okay? So that's not going to be a monthly payment. That's what he put down before he walked out of the store. Okay, same with a lovely agreement. Hey, I'm going to give you $37 right now, and then every month I'm going to pay you roughly like $16. Okay, I don't know how many months that is, but that's what I'm going to do. And they all agreed. He got the microscope. He's taking it home. He's looking at all kinds of fun stuff. So if he's putting down $37, that means you should just have 37 as a constant. So right away, D and B are out. But we're saying for P monthly payments, so that means every month or each month he's paying $16. So that should be my 16P. All right, so we got 16P for both A and C. One's negative, one's positive. So if you're putting money down and it's part of the total, that means you are adding. So your answer is going to be C. Okay? Because if I were to solve to figure out how many months this was going to be, I'm being extra right now. I haven't seen y'all in a while, so I have to do this. I missed you. So in order for me to solve this for P, I would have to subtract the 37. And I think that's what a lot of you guys were thinking of when they were doing this, okay? You're like, okay, I'm taking away the 37 from the total. In order for you to take away the 37 from the total, that means it originally was going to be added because it was supposed to be the total of that 165. That's why it's going to be a plus instead of a minus. If you were solving, you're going to do the subtraction. Okay. All right. Great. Okay, you did it backwards? Okay, Papa, I see you. Not a problem. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, makes sense. Good. All right, so I like to give detailed information, just in case you haven't figured it out. I know. Trust me, I could have solved this problem like about 10 minutes ago, but here we are. All right, so number 10, before we get back to our lovely exchange. Okay, so we have y minus 57 equals px. The given equation relates the positive number p, x, and y. Which equation correctly expresses y in terms of p and x? Is it A, is it B, is it C, or is it D? So this is like a little step up. So if you're my ASVAB people, you will see something like this. Especially when they want you to solve for a letter out of a formula. SAT people, ACT people, you will see a question similar to this. GED, you might see something similar to this. And that would be considered if it's like this, probably like a 3-point question. Okay, but level of difficulty. Very rarely you'll see it. Okay, but ASVAB, you'll see it. ACCUPLACER, you definitely see it. TEAS tests, they will use more of like a geometric formula. Like say the area of a triangle. They like to use that one. Okay, so we're saying not B or C, not sure with Kaiser. Got some B's with Dimitri, Wale, Shay, Blessed, all saying B. Yes, IBEW, you see a lot with slope. Your exams, you see a lot with slopes and obviously basic arithmetic, like adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, decimals, fractions, percentage, distance and rate and time formulas. You see a lot of that. And then slope and the equation and the lines, you will definitely see. All right. Okay, so let's take a look. Big Al, how are you? All right, so when they say they want to express y in terms of, that means they want you to take this equation and solve it for y. That's what they're asking. Okay, so since we have this y minus 57 is equal to px, do not let these variables of px fool you. If I want to get y by itself, okay, you're sitting here at your local pub, just enjoying some time, getting some free, nice food, maybe you got free something. You, all of a sudden, here comes this negative person coming at you. What do you got to do? Got to kill them with kindness. So you have to do the inverse. So you're adding the 57. So if I'm going to add the 57, got to do the opposite. So now y is by itself. And what happens? You can say px plus 57. Or you can say 57. Ooh, why did I do a 5? 57 plus px. One or the other will do. And in this case, it will be letter B. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, so a couple more flashcard times. Let's see. We're all good. We're all good. All right, so here we go. All right, I want you to evaluate. Okay, tell me what my answer is. 4 times x minus 2y divided by x plus y when x is equal to 4 and y is equal to negative 2. What is my answer? Okay. Thank you for becoming fans. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So this one is for all of them. This particular question, TEAS test, HESI test, GED, ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, they all have evaluation questions. SAT, ACT, all of them. Okay? Even the EOC for Florida and Algebra 1, boom, they all have evaluation questions. Regents in New York, boom, they all have evaluation questions. All right, so I see 16, 8, 32. I see 4, 0, 8, 4, 8, 16, 8, 8, 12, 2. Okay, 16, 0, 16. Okay, got a 12. Got a 4, got a 4. Because of this range of different answers, this is why I do this. Not just to be a pain in the ass. Okay, so we have our 16s with Gabby, King with a 0, Nevin with a 16, Big V with a 10, Navin with a 16, got you. Is that Marilyn? The same 16. Carla. Okay, so let's see. You're stuck between 0 and 8. Not sure? Okay, Paris. I got you. All right. Let's video on that. It all depends on what the video is, Kia. All right, so now I'm going to do our little substitution. I'm going to see if I can put it right here and let me unzoom a little less so we can get all the screen. So anytime I see an X, I'm going to put a 4. So we have our 4 parenthesis 4 minus 2 times my y over 4 plus my y. Okay. Anytime you see a number and a variable, I think somebody was kind of asking about that, that means multiplication. So it's going to be 2 times your y. Now our y is negative 2. Okay. So now we need to solve. And what we're going to use? Please excuse my dear insanity. From left to right. I should put that, need to put that down. All right. So, working inside the parentheses. So I think this will be, let me do this as a cover up so it won't be too intensive. So what's going on inside that parenthesis? Well, I have multiplication right here. Okay, so I can't say, oh, let me do 4 minus 2, and then I multiply it by the 2. No, no, no. Okay, this minus sign is not attached to the 4. It's attached to this 2. So we have to multiply these two up. So we have a negative 2 times a negative 2. So a negative times a negative gives me a positive. And that will give me a positive 4. Okay. So now we have our 4 minus 4. So inside this parenthesis, 4 minus 4, because it's still inside the parenthesis, is a 0. So the 4 that's outside this parenthesis comes down. Then underneath, we have our 4 plus negative 2. So 4 plus negative 2, I have $4. I spent 2. That means I have $2 left. All right. So now, working on that numerator, 4 times 0, that gives us 0. Anything times 0 is 0. Now, 0 divided by anything is 0. So your answer is going to be 0. All right. Oh, wait, hold on. Pause. Didn't I just say 4 times 4 is a positive 4, so 4 plus 4, that should be 8? Yeah, mama needs sleep. I'll tell you why I'm not getting enough sleep last night. So that shouldn't be 0. 4 times 8, that should be 32. And then 32 divided by 12, that should be a 16. Because I was like, that doesn't seem right. There we go. Answer should be 16. So sorry, people. You trusted me and then I just failed you. All right, so let's try again. So negative times a negative gives me a positive, so that's a positive 4. It would have helped if I did that. So now 4 plus 4, that gives me 8. That's where this came from. Multiply the 4 times 8, that gives me 32. Then we did the 4 plus a negative 2, that gives me a positive 2. 32 divided by 2, that will give me my 16. There we go. Now your girl's back into the service. Thank you, Josh. You thought you were losing it? Shoot. I know. We don't need everybody to be crazy. We need some people to be saying up in this sometime. All right. Okay. Awesome. Let's do another one. Let me flip this bad boy over. Okay. Let's try this one. Okay. Evaluate. What do we got? Do I do private tutoring for a 7th grader? Yes, I do. Just go ahead and just message me. Harvard admissions exam. Right? You had my best go for a second. Good afternoon, Charmaine. How are you? All right, so let's evaluate. Let's see what we got. Let's evaluate. Okay, so we have x cubed minus 5 times x minus 6 minus 2y when x equals 2 and y equals 10. Okay. So we got Josh for A. My car. Hello. Welcome back. Okay, Phoenix Queen saying 16. McCarthy with 8. Jada with 16. Wale with 8. Taha with 8. Be more. See with the 8. Okay. Hey, Sammy Boo with the 8. Is that Kalamazoo? Kamikazes with the 8. Okay, Joe Smith with a 48. Kendra with the 8. Queen E with an 8. Is that Tuwado? Tuwado? If I'm saying it incorrectly, please correct me. Saying 8. Yes, God bless child. Saying 8. User 86 with a follow. Thank you. Kevin with an 8. King DRC with an 8. Ariane is saying negative 32. Icy with the 8. Okay, Wale is saying 8 now. Got you. All right. Okay. I have a feeling some people are either probably like, I think I do. Okay, we got negative 21. User 89 with an 8. All right. So let's take a look. So all we're doing is when we see an X, we're going to put a 2 in its place. So that means it's going to be 2 to the third power. Then we have our minus 5 times. And then we have another 2 to put here. I was like, where'd my other pen go? Oh, there it is. And then for the Y, we only have one place to put the Y, which is right next to our 2. So now, let's take a look. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally from left to right. All right, so if we recall, we have our P, E, from left to right. That's the part that gets everyone. So parentheses, that's what we're doing first. So we have 2 minus 6. So that will give me a negative 4. If you owed me $6 and you paid me 2, that means you still owe me $4. So I'm bringing everything else down. I know a lot of us probably see our answers. And you're probably saying, well, Audrey, why are you putting that parenthesis around there? Because right here we have basically a negative 5 being multiplied to what we got for the answer of negative 4. So again, from left to right, we already took care of the parentheses, so that's done. We need our exponents. Well, we have one exponent right here. So 2 to the third power, that is not 6. Okay, 2 to the third power is 2 times 2 times 2. Sorry, I gotta do this puzzle piece thing. Okay. Okay. Why not? What do you mean, why not? Oh, why not? Why can't we say 2 to the third power is 6? Because you are multiplying that base to itself 3 times. So 2 times 2 gives me 4, and 4 times 2 gives me 8. So since we took care of that, let me not forget about my 10 right here. So now we have our negative 5 times negative 4. A lot of people get like, well, you're subtracting. Well, remember, subtraction symbols and negatives are very similar. Okay, so it's easier for me to see this as a negative than as subtracting, because I'm not subtracting the 5 to the negative 4, I'm multiplying. So when there are 2 negatives, that means it changed to a positive, and then 5 times 4 will give me 20. Okay, so that's the first set of multiplication we had to do. Then the second set deals with this negative 2 times 10. So negative 2 times 10, that gives me a negative 20. And probably a lot of people will say, well, Audrey, we have that positive and negative. That should cancel out to give me 8. Yes. Yes. But let's keep with the flow just in case. We know it is, but, just work with me. But remember, from left to right, we have 8 plus 20. That gives me 28. And 28 minus 20, that gives me my answer of 8. Okay. Hey, Anne. Good afternoon to you. Okay. All right. Questions. Questions. All right. So here's the thing. Still going to plug it. Still going to do it. All these little cards, just in case you haven't noticed with the copyright on there. Okay. I made these cards. I'm tired of people like just putting up cards that other people made. I was like, well, let me put some math problems together. And what I do is I made it into a book. And I have a book that has a lot of the simplifying that we just did, the evaluating, and then it also has a piece, which I'm going to show next time, is with the solving. Okay? And it's all into one book. And it's a part of my whole new series called Algebra at Your Pace. So if you're thinking about getting your GED, your ASVAB, the ACCUPLACER, TEAS tests, anything that deals heavily with the algebra and stuff you haven't seen. And remember, COVID put a huge damper because a lot of our kids do not have those basic concepts. So this is what has to happen. We need resources to build those things up because we're seeing it as you're trying to take your GED, your ASVAB, your ACCUPLACER, all those exams. So if you are looking for something, a lot of them come in a sheet like this, okay? And there's 4 to a page. One book has over 300 problems in there total. Yes, I am cray-cray. So all of those are a part of my lovely series. Okay, and this is what the book looks like, the cover. You can get it on the A. I can't say the name of it, but it's the brown box with a smile on it. So it's available now on the A. But if you want like a digital copy, which is a little bit cheaper, you can go to the link in my bio. I changed the link so it will take you straight to my website, and you can get that. It has this with all of these other type of resources. You can use it in your classroom. You can use it for homeschool. You can use it for yourself to kind of like brush up on some skills, especially this one right here. You guys always ask what formulas goes with what. I got it all listed. I put it in a book. I just forget. I was like, I'm just putting it all in the book. Okay, so some of these are combined with other things, the multiplying integers. So I'm looking at positive and negative and negative and negatives. So same thing with the dividing integers. So if you think, there you go. Okay, yeah, so there's a whole bunch of resources. Now, if you want me to go step by step and to really kind of work with how to do things more in details, more so than I do on these lives, you can actually buy my workbook. I know. Your girl finally decided to make a workbook. This is what she did over Christmas break. Everyone else is thinking of sugar plums and dancing in their heads. Your girl made a workbook. For you guys. Not even for me. For you guys. So it has like all of the resources that I would have normally in my notebooks that I used to sell. I also put, for the first one, I put some exponential examples, flashcards in the back as a special gift. But it has like practice tests. It gives you answer keys. You can, if you want to see me do a video of doing all the extra practice step by step, I do have an opportunity for you to be able to watch those happen step by step. All you do is you scan the QR code. It has instructions. I give you a space for you to write down your notes. Also give you a space for you to do your practice problems. And then if you want extra practice problems to work on them, you can work on one side. And then the opposite side, it'll be your answer key. So you don't have to go all the way to page 68 to get your answer. But I know you're going to be like, I think the answer for number 4 is, and then you do this thing. 3.8. I knew that. Okay. So really try to get you to learn, to understand, to break down these concepts as best you can. Even, especially this question right here, when they always ask you about if it's a irrational, rational numbers. That's definitely a question on GED and ASVAB. All right. So that, if you want, the link is in the bio. All right. So now my room is an absolute mess. But if you do need assistance, I will be putting the recording of this session on my YT account. Again, another name I can't say out loud, but I can point to it. If you want to see all of my recordings since February the 2nd, that's when I started doing these lives here on TikTok. You can go here and then go ahead and subscribe. It's a free subscription. Have fun with it, right? And then you can sit and you can watch some of the videos. Some of them are like this. Some of them that I did today. Some of them are just focused on like one concept, like say factoring. And you can just go ahead and just watch away. But if you want someone to break down concepts a little bit more, a way that you can just stop the tape, rewind and all that, that's where you can use the algebra at your pace. All right. Whew. That was fun. Okay. SAT from the UK. Forgot what it was called. All right. I feel like this. All right. You show the book so I can screenshot it? Sure. I'll actually... Yep, so volumes 1 through 5 is currently out there. Let me just actually show you the recording of it, because I think this will be a lot better for you, because then you can fit it on your screen a lot more. Okay, so algebra at your pace, it's ready. Then there is, so you can have like a physical copy or you can have the digital copy. So if you're like, you know what, I want to do the digital, you can do the digital. And then if you said the next volume you want to do an actual hard copy, you can do that. Or you can just basically look at which ones you need. So like this one's for integers and decimals. Volume 2 is for functions and also the divisibility, there we go, factors. Then we have solving equations. If you have trouble with solving one-step, two-step, multi-step equations, this might be the one you want to. But I think the best one, if you want to start from the beginning, is volume 1. But you can pick and choose. I made it this way so you can pick and choose what you need. If it's mostly linear, if you haven't passed your GED and you missed it by like say 4 points, or you missed it by 12 points, it's because you skipped with slope, equation of line, graph in a line, lines that are parallel and perpendicular. Those are the problems that you skipped. If you skip any of those 4-point questions, nope, you're not going to pass. They have it designed that way. Okay, regardless of how well you did with the arithmetic part, if you skip any of those, you will not pass. All right, so that's true to the heart, and I want you to pass. Same thing with the inequalities, system of equations, system of inequalities. You can use this book 5/6. I had to combine them together. All right. Okay, awesome. So continue on. I will see you guys tomorrow. I think I said at 1 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not 1, it's 3. But I can do 1 o'clock now. It's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be tomorrow. I do have a couple students, but afterwards I'll come on live. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can either contact me through the Service Plus button, which is somewhere around here, or you could just send me a message. You can send a requested message. I always look to see if anyone wants anything there. Please don't just message me hi, because I'm going to delete it. Okay? And don't message me like, oh, you should watch this live, and it's like has something with video games. That's not my thing. Yeah, that's definitely not my thing. Sorry. So, but if you have a question about math, you're looking for a tutor, I usually tutor from 7th grade up to adults. And I normally charge $92. Yep, because I'm worth every penny. But for my TikTok people, I charge $77. So if anything, if you want to subscribe, you can write. But then my books, the volume for the books are usually $24.99. So it's almost like you're getting me as a tutor for a major discount price. The flashcards or the matching cards, if anything, just go to the link that's in my bio and you can see all the information in there. Okay, I tried to keep it reasonable, especially more economic, because if you can't afford me as a tutor, you can still get me to support you in your journey. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm giving you hope, Marie. I love it. I love it. That's what I want. You all can do math, because I used to struggle in math. I was not the super genius that you see before you. I can't keep a straight face with that. No, totally not a super genius. But I learned after you take so many exams, you get to see the pattern. And that's what math is all about. Math is about finding and understanding patterns. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then you just have to apply it. So once you understand what the rule is, because a lot of people don't really explain thoroughly what the rules are, it's just like, here's the rule, and they just kind of zip by it. You know, like, wait, what? So by having someone break it down for you and then you can apply it, it makes the application process so much easier. So I get it. Okay, no more math phobia. You have someone to help break things down. Okay. All right. All right, everyone. So I'm going to skedaddle. I will see you guys tomorrow, either 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock, one of the two. But have an amazing rest of your evening. Please stay safe. Please stay safe, because people just want to act like they own places. I'm going to keep it right there. All right. Have a lovely night and talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.